You check your phone 40 times a day, and you still don't know what you're supposed to be doing right now. Sound familiar? You're not lazy. You're not undisciplined. Your environment is just designed to keep you reactive instead of in control. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the one habit that flips that switch, the one almost nobody talks about, sitting near the very end of this list. Stick around for it. Habit 1. Write tomorrow's plan the night before. Most people plan in the morning when their willpower's already half spent on deciding what to wear and what to eat. Psychologist Roy Baumeister's research on ego depletion showed decision-making is a finite resource. You burn through it just existing. So plan at night, when the day's already done and the stakes feel lower. 3 lines written by hand before bed. Top priority, 1 task you're avoiding, 1 task that takes 5 minutes. Do this for a week and mornings stop feeling like a scramble. But here's where it gets interesting, because the next habit isn't about doing more. It's about doing less on purpose. Habit 2. Pick 1 task and make it impossible to skip. We treat to-do lists like menus. Pick whatever looks appetizing. That's why the hard stuff never gets touched. Psychologist Peter Gollwitzer's work on implementation intentions found that pairing a task with a specific time and trigger, after I pour my coffee, I open my laptop and write, makes you several times more likely to actually follow through than a vague intention ever will. Pick the 1 task you keep avoiding. Attach it to something you already do without thinking. Watch it stop being optional. Habit 3. Keep 1 inbox, not 5. Notes app, WhatsApp, sticky notes, your memory. Sound familiar? Every place you store information is a place your brain has to check. That's mental overhead you're paying for constantly, even when you're not working. Pick 1 place. OneNotes app. Everything goes there first, then gets sorted later. Your brain stops running background checks on 6 different systems. Halfway there. And if you've made it this far, you're already doing something most people scroll past, staying with something uncomfortable. Good, because the habit that's coming is the one that changes how your brain handles stress, not just your schedule. Habit 4. Build a shutdown ritual. Work doesn't end because you close your laptop. It ends when your brain believes it's actually done. Otherwise, it keeps running quietly in the background, which is why you lie in bed replaying your to-do list. Sleep researcher Matthew Walker has shown how unresolved tasks interfere with the kind of rest your brain needs to actually recover. So close every work session the same way. Glance at tomorrow's plan. Say out loud, shutdown complete. It sounds almost silly. It works because it gives your brain a clear signal that the open loop is closed. Habit 5. Review your week on the same day, every week. Most people only look backward when something's gone wrong. By then it's too late to adjust. You're just doing damage control. Cognitive psychologist John Flavel's work on metacognition, thinking about your own thinking, shows that people who regularly reflect on how they're working, not just what they're doing, improve faster than people who simply put in more hours. Same day, 15 minutes. What worked, what didn't, what changes next week. That's it. But here's the habit nobody talks about. The one that has nothing to do with productivity apps or morning routines. Habit 6. Stop studying the same way you've always studied. Recall it instead of rereading it. If you're a student stacking lecture slides next to your business hustle, listen closely. Rereading notes feels productive. It isn't. Cognitive scientist Robert Bjork's research on desirable difficulties found that forcing yourself to recall information, closing the book, and writing what you remember builds memory that rereading never touches. It feels harder in the moment. That's exactly why it works. Try on your next study session and notice how much more sticks. Habit 7. And this is the one I told you to wait for. Design your environment so the right choice is the easy one. Most people rely on willpower to stay organized. Willpower runs out by 3 p.m. Behavioral scientist Wendy Wood's research shows that most of what we call habits aren't decisions at all. They're responses to environment and cues, repeated until they're automatic. So stop trying to white-knuckle your way into discipline. Put your textbook on your pillow so you can't ignore it. Delete the app that eats your evenings. Charge your phone outside your room. You're not relying on motivation anymore. You've engineered the outcome before you even have to choose. That's the difference between people who stay organized and people who keep starting over. It was never about trying harder. It was about needing to try less. Habit 8. Do a 2-minute reset between tasks. Switching from a chaotic conversation straight into deep work doesn't work. Your brain carries the last task's residue into the next one. 2 minutes. Stand up, breathe, glance at what's next. That tiny gap is what lets your brain actually switch context instead of dragging the last hour into this one. Organization was never about color-coded planners or the perfect app. It's about becoming someone whose environment and routines work for them instead of against them. That's not a productivity hack. That's an identity shift. And if you're serious about building that life, one habit at a time, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of work we're doing here every single week.